beginning the second set of our Thai yoga series. And your partner will be laying on their back and you'll be at their feet in a comfortable seated position, so kneeling. This is wide diamond or open diamond. And you want to have your partner's feet starting out hip width apart. I'm going to lift from gaze ankles and let her feet go a little wider than hip width. And then very gently, with loving kindness, bringing my hands down on her feet, I'm going to press her feet wide. And then I'm going to rock from side to side, just changing my body weight and walking my hands out toward her toes, and then coming back in toward the heels. How's that pressure?
That feels good.
That's good, okay. So it's just a nice gentle opening in the ankle joints and the hip joints, a nice massage in the inside of the arch of the foot. And then we're going to bring gaze feet together, or parallel, and then press inward from around the pinky toe, just below the pinky toe. So that was duck feet, this is pigeon feet. And we press the feet toward one another and down, giving the outside of the ankle and the outside edge of the foot a nice opening. And so I'm maintaining a lengthened spine, trying to protect my back, keeping my core engaged as I use my body weight to press down. And then I'm going to bring gaze feet parallel once again and closer, so they're about hip width apart. And I'm going to come up a little bit higher for this one. I'm going to bring the heels of my hands down on her toes. And as I exhale, I'm going to press down on her toes for what's called pencil point. So I'm stretching now the top of the front of her ankle and the tops of her feet. Is that enough? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So this can be intense if you don't normally stretch the front of your foot, so you really want to check in and make sure it's not overwhelming for your partner. And then we'll straighten her toes up, bring the feet flexed, and then press into the tops where the ball of the foot and the toes meet. Press back into what's called toe jam. And then hold for a couple breaths and release. And I'm going to bring gaze feet a little wider than hip width apart, and I'm going to scoot up a little bit. And I'm going to take the outside edge of my hand and find her shin bone with my finger, moving to the inside of her shin bone where the muscles begin to approach the shin. I'm going to place the outside edge of my hand in that muscle, on that muscle, and draw the muscle away from the bone. So you want to be careful that you don't place too much pressure here. It can be, again, intense. So I move about 3 times up toward her knees, and then I make eagle claws with my hands and place them right over her kneecaps around the outside, and I begin to make a circular motion here. And I want to make sure that I'm comfortable, so that if you're experiencing any discomfort, that can be transferred to your partner. I'm going to switch the direction of the circle, so you want to make sure that you're in a nice, calm, comfortable state in order to give that type of energy to your partner. Then I'm going to take my hands with the fingers facing straight down, and I'm going to draw her thigh muscles around the bone and press with the heel of my hand toward the inside of the legs. And I'm stacking my joints once again, using my body weight for the pressure. And I come up to the inner thigh, and then I'm going to find gaze hip bones and come right below the hip bones and press straight down onto the carotid artery. This is called blood stopper. So you don't want to hold too long here, but just for a couple breaths. And then as you release the pressure, it's flushed with fresh oxygenated blood. And I'll come back down the legs the same way that I went up. So drawing the flesh around the bone and inward. And then eagle claw on the knees, both directions. And then outside edge of the hand, drawing the muscle away from the bone. And then we're going to change position for the next set. So we're going to start the leg series. with lifted legs. So I'm gonna be mindful, bend my knees and come into a nice squat, engage my belly, and I'm gonna grab Gay's ankles. And very slowly and gently, I'm gonna raise her legs up. So this can be, if the hamstrings are tighter, it might be that you wanna go very, very slowly so you don't shock the hamstring muscles. How's that?
I'd actually like a little more. That's great.
A little more.
Slow.
Okay. So I'm gently bringing her into the fullness of the length of her hamstrings. So I don't want to move too fast. How's that?
That's great.
That's good. And then I'm going to bring her feet into a flexed position, make fists with my hands, and I'm just going to pound on her feet. A little drumming on the bottoms of her feet. Stimulate a lot of marble points here, or acupressure points in Chinese medicine. And then I'm going to open slap the bottoms of her feet. This is really good also near the heel for the sciatic nerve. And I'm going to take her ankles from the outside. I'm going to use my knee to bend her knees and turn her ankles outward so that her knees open wide. I'm going to take a wide stance and bend my knees, placing the knees in the back of her legs and the hamstrings. We're going to do bus driver. So gently, her legs are the wheel of the steering wheel of the bus. We're going to go side to side. And if the size, a differentiation of partners, it's too much to bend your knees and place them in the back of your partner's thighs, you can just be mindful that you're moving from your core, but you don't have to place the knees in the back of the thighs. So you rock the whole body, twisting side to side. And then I'm going to gently lift her legs straight back up so I don't snap her knees. And then I'm going to come down into a kneeling position and place the back of her knees right on my thigh. And I want my thigh to be equal behind her knees so there's no angle at a diagonal. And then I'll move the flesh away from the back of her calves so that it doesn't pinch. I'm going to cross one foot over the other, and then I'm going to press down. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. And her sacrum floats up off the floor. Then I'm going to gently rock her side to side. This is a really beautiful release for the sacrum. It lets it just float, just like if you're in water. So, how's that feel? Good. And then I'm going to gently let her feet come back up, which will release her sacrum down to the floor. And her legs are going to come back up to straight so we don't snap. And then I'm going to come down, spread my feet wide, coming into that warrior stance once again with my elbows on my thighs and her heels in my hand. I'm going to gently rock her back and forth, and this is called vacuum cleaner. So just gently rocking your partner, feeling stimulation in the whole back body when you do this rocking. It's also very comforting. It's a very comforting motion. And then very ever so gently release your partner's legs down. You can draw her pant legs down, and we'll give her a couple brushes down the legs. It's an energetic release. And I'll help my partner up. Sorry. All right.
So let's move a little bit farther forward. So I'm going to finish this massage, working around Dawn's shoulders and head. There are a couple of positions you can start with, but the first thing you might want to do is take a look at their hair, and we want to just move the hair out of the way so you won't be pulling their hair in a way that you don't intend to. One option is to put your feet on the shoulders and work with the heels and the arch of the foot. But sometimes more comfortable is to keep a little less pressure and just work with the hands. So I'm going to put the kind of inner surface of the middle of my hand on her shoulder, and I'm going to press down one side and then the other. And I can experiment with the hand position and find what's better. I'm going to sweep my hands under her back. Again, I'm staying away from the spine, and I'm going to draw my hands along the paraspinal up to the bulbous part of her head. And I'll be drawing the head back slightly to give her a little traction. So she doesn't have to lift up from me. I can just scoop my hands under. And then pull my fingers upward. And it's an opportunity to align her upward spine. So right now I've got the bulbous part of her head, and I'm drawing it back, just giving the neck a little traction. I'll do that again. So sweeping under, drawing the fingers up, and pulling towards you. And I'm going to begin to transition, focusing on her head. Typically I would sit right around her like this, but I'm going to move to the side so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to bring my hands down onto her forehead and sweep my palms out to her temples. There are a lot of marma points at the forehead and the temples, so I'm sweeping through those marma points. Marma points are conjunctions of tissue, bone, nerve, muscle, and energetic points in the subtle body. I'm going to start to work her earlobes, and I'm going to pull in the direction of growth. So at the upper earlobe, I'm pulling toward me as I get down toward the middle of the earlobe, toward the floor, and then in the earlobe itself, toward her shoulders. And then I'm going to begin to concentrate on her jawline. Again, another site for a lot of marma points. So I'll start right under the earlobes, and I'm just using my 3 middle fingers, making circles. And again, you want to make sure that your position is comfortable, you're not straining your back as you do this. And I'm walking down toward her chin. So I'm moving my hands together. I'm going to come up to her hair and just pull her hair lightly in the direction of growth. And that just stimulates the scalp a little bit. Brings the energy back up to the crown of the head. And I'd like to lengthen the forehead, so I'm going to press down right here under at the very top of the bridge of the nose and back in the hairline. So I'm just pressing these 2 points away. And finally, I want to end with a blessing. So I'm going to come into my own connection with Spirit. And I'll put one hand on her heart and one hand on her crown, helping her to connect heart and head. Okay. I just want to feel her breath. And then releasing any energy that was liberated in the massage by extending arms outward, bringing your gaze up and your attention upward toward the unbounded above. And blessing your partner. One last remembrance of your intention to help heal your partner, to help work on their health.